So you want to get into snowmobiling, but you don't really know what to look for when buying a sled. So I'm going to give you guys what I do when I go and buy an old sled or a newer sled. It's mostly old sleds, but I'll just show you guys what I do. So basically the first thing I do is I just give it a once over. Just a visual kind of, you know, is the hood all cracked up? Which, this one's actually pretty straight for the most part. And of course it depends on what sled you're buying. If it's an older one, if it's a really nice sled, you know, you're going to be more picky about it. If it's just a junker kind of like this one, you don't really care. You know, the seat is like tore up. It's held by ratchet straps. So visually this thing is just rough. And then kind of by doing that, I expect the insides of this to be kind of the same thing. And well, it was. The next thing I do is I open up the hood. And here's your clutch cover. I open that up. And all I do is I just feel the clutch. Now if a sled, like let's say it's been sitting in a barn for years, the bottom end bearings can get a little bit of rust on them and they can lock up a little bit. So besides just going and yanking the pull rope, I just come down and I just feel it. Because if it's locked like that, which this one was, when I bought this motor was locked tight. I managed to break it loose, and we're going to see how long we get out of it. But anyways, I just grab it, and that'll kind of tell you, and then you can, you know, feel the crank and all that. But I can feel it's got a little bit of compression. Now, even a motor with lower compression will still, you know, have that feel of compression, which leads me into the second one. Get yourself a compression tester. Now you can either rent one, or I got this one secondhand and it works great for this. What I like to look for in a sled is about 115 pounds and up. Anything really lower than 115, it will run, but it's, you know, a pain to start when it's cold. Now what I like to see is around 125 or higher, which this motor does actually. So that's good. The other thing I check actually, if you come down to the clutch, now I think this one was rebuilt. It looks like it's got like new bushings or whatever in there. It's just check the condition of the clutch. That can tell you a lot. And to be honest, with how old these sleds are, they're just not taken care of. Most of the time the buttons in your secondary are falling apart or rotten or were just never replaced. Now coming to the other side of the sled, the other thing I check over here would be like brakes. Now the brakes are getting down there a little bit, so I'm going to replace them, but they are good for now. I checked the chain case oil. A lot of guys don't really like to fill them, or they'll put the wrong stuff in it. Like this has 80-90 in it. Somebody had thrown gear lube in this chain case, and it's got quite a bit of metal shavings in there, so we're going to see the condition of the chain case in another video. Now for the next part, I'm going to have to go under the sled, but I actually got a parts sled out back that I'm going to tip up on its side, and we're just going to go and look at the underside of that sled. Okay, so I came out to my junkyard back here, and I flipped over one of my dead sleds just to show you guys the underneath of a sled. So one of the things I look at, and I should have mentioned it over there, was just check out your skags on the bottom of your skis. It's just a wear item, and you know, once they wear out, they'll start eating into the bottom of your skis, so you don't want that. Of course you can see the belly pan a lot better. This one's been beat up a little bit, but doesn't look too bad. Then coming to the track, basically I just look at the condition of the track, And this one doesn't look too terrible. It's old, but if you bought just kind of a junker sled to drive around on, this will be fine. Another thing you'll notice is it's a studded track. Now some people like studs, some people don't. I prefer studs, and I'm actually going to pull these studs off and put them on my other snowmobile. That way I don't have to swap tracks, because the track on the other snowmobile is it's a newer track somebody had put on. So I'm going to pull these studs off and put it on that track. Now the suspension, the rear suspension. I just come in. Now this sled doesn't have aux shocks, but I just look at the condition of the shocks, even if they are bad. I have seen some where they're just bent. That can be a telltale sign of stuff. Another one is bogies. All of these bogies are pretty much bad. Now, like, they look good on the outside, which is good, but the bearings on the inside are bad. So I just look at that, because it's another item you're going to have to replace. Or if you're just buying a junk sled just to trash it, you know, then it doesn't matter. Another one is the slides. You see this purple here? This is what your track wears on. That way it doesn't go into the bottom rail right here and wear it out. So that's kind of just a quick overview of the suspension and the bottom side of the sled. I do have to take another note, is this is a cooler. Now, not all sleds have these. This one does. And I just check it, make sure it ain't damaged or anything like that. And usually they're not, but, you know, if they get hit, they can leak. So that's just another thing to look at. Okay, so there we go. There's kind of a quick just overview of what I do when looking at a sled. Now each and every sled you buy is got its own issues and its own problems, and they're all just temperamental. But if there's any questions that you guys have that I didn't talk about something, or if I didn't mention something but you have a question, just throw a comment, and I'll try to answer it the best I can. But anyways, I hope you guys had a good Christmas, or whatever you celebrate, and Happy New Year's, and we'll see you on the next one.